Black and stuff.
I am calling to order the regular meeting of the Warrenville Public Library District. It is Wednesday, December 13th, 2023, and it is 7:01 p.m. We're going to go ahead and do a roll call. Trustee Pika.
Present.
Trustee Schmidt.
Present.
Trustee Warren.
Present.
Trustee Stoll. Present. Trustee DeRocher is present. Executive Director Stillman. Sometimes as a trustee. And all of our department heads. So happy you're all here. Nice to have a full house today. Well, we're missing a couple of board members.
Probably.
All right. So the first thing I'd like to do is the approval of the agenda. If I could have a motion. Are there any changes?
Well, I guess we can remove number 19.
I was gonna say.
19 is the closed session. So 19 is coming up. If I could have a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Awesome.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Warren. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Do we have any presentations?
Not at this point. You will eventually.
Not at this point. Ooh, the tension builds.
We need more than babies.
Doesn't look like we have any public here. So no
Is there-
comments.
Are we online or no?
Yeah.
Oh, is there anybody on?
Not that I know.
Okay. No correspondence?
Only that card that I put in my report, which is from the Helen Home Library.
Okay. All right.
That's good. I wonder what prompted that, but it's nice.
It was. I can only assume that
Trustee
they're
Lazan?
Hello.
sending those to multiple libraries, because otherwise I wouldn't know why they would have singled us out. It was a lovely note. It just was kind of random and unexpected.
You know, they recently rebuilt their library and all that stuff, yeah.
Okay. Welcome, trustee Lazan. We're about to go to the consent agenda. Secretary Stoll.
Item A, approved minutes of the November 15th, 2023 regular board meeting. Item B, approved minutes of the November 15th, 2023 truth and taxation public hearing. Receive and file financial report for November 2023. D, certified statement of economic interest list and authorized submission of information to DuPage County. Item E, adopt ordinance number 23-24-05, ordinance fixing regular meetings for 2024. F, authorize library staff to submit to the Illinois State Library the Roman numeral I FY 24 public library per capita grant application. And item 2, fiscal year 22 public library per capita grant expenditure report. And 3, certification of eligibility for grants pursuant to 75 ILCS 10/. Is it more after the 10/?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it.
All right. So if I could have a motion, please.
I move to accept the consent agenda as read by the secretary.
Second. Motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Lazan. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stoll. Aye. And trustee DeRocher votes aye. The consent agenda is passed. Moving on to the regular agenda.
I move we pay invoices in the amount of $60,110.15, the period of November 16th, 2023 through December 13th, 2023, including electronic payments and checks numbers 9692 through 9733.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Warren. Trustee Stoll. Aye. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher votes aye. All right, 8B, if I could have a motion, please.
I move that we transfer $225,000 from our commercial checking account to our operating checking account.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Warren. Trustee Stoll. Aye. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee DeRocher votes aye. That, transfer is approved. Now to, unfinished business. The air conditioning screen project. Take it away, Jason.
Dream bug.
We're gonna take a bite to just be there with. In solidarity, that's right.
All right, so last month, we had a quote about soundproofing fencing, which was very, very expensive. And I had reached out to the code person to ask whether that was actually required, and he said, no, regular fencing is fine. So we have since had two visits from people. The second visit was Monday, so we're waiting on the second quote, but we got the first quote, which was significantly cheaper, like $50,000 or $60,000
Wow.
cheaper than the soundproofing.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that will fall theoretically into our miscellaneous building maintenance repairs out of the special reserve fund. So, I don't know if it's explicitly required, but I feel like it might be still a good idea to just get a brand new survey, because their last Plata survey was from 2004. And then we had the one in 2015, which was the Plata dedication with the land swap. So I feel like it might behoove us to have a whole new, brand new updated one that represents the land swap as well.
Yeah.
For anybody doing fencing, so
As long as.
I may reach out to try and get that, because I'm assuming the fencing company might want that, although they might be able to cobble together with the two pieces that we've got, but. So that might add a little bit, then once we get the fencing quote, like I said, I think the first quote we got at the moment for wood was just under 12,000, I think. As opposed to the, whatever it was 60 or 70,000 first. So much more affordable. Then we'll need to add on, I don't think it'll have to be too much, because there's already some out there, but we'll have to add on, I believe, a little bit of landscaping to soften the aesthetic of the shielding. So, but all in all, it's going to be, we don't have to go to bid. It'll be affordable. It'll more or less fall under miscellaneous. So hopefully it will, in the end, make us go over budget that much.
We did have this installed right away.
May 31st or 30th, but the end of May. So ideally, if once we get the second, we were trying to get a third quote. But once we pick one of those, and say, yes, we choose you, Pikachu. Then they can give us the plans, and then we'll get the landscaping plans added to that. And then we have to send that to the city for approval, permits and whatnot. So I'm hoping we can, I don't know if there's huge rush for that, but I'm presuming by, February, we could probably be sending it to the city. I assume I can bring it to you all first if you want to take a look at it first before we send it over. But, then we just get schedule the work. And I'm assuming they would come out in April or May to do it all. Although the first fence company that we saw, he did say they don't care about winter. They can do it at any time, so.
Could I give you a list of some native shrubs that are good for our fauna that might be appropriate around the fence?
Sure.
Have we heard any more from the resident?
No. I mean, the library did not hear from them specifically. They could finish,
Either,
but
whoever has
I haven't
come
heard
to you. and
anything
said-
additional. So
I'm sure the city would tell them that it's in progress, but.
yes, I think that would have been the goal, as long as we are showing progress towards. Then that should mollify.
That's the one.
But anyway, the fact that it is so much more affordable to do regular fencing, I think we should plow ahead, get it done and taken care of. And then maybe for next year or the year after, we can look into seeing about maybe piecemealing, adding on some sound absorption panels or something on the inside of fencing afterwards to try and help with it. But I think just putting up the fencing will mean we are no longer in violation of the code and addresses the main issue.
There's a code for that.
So anyway, that's where we're at for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Sounds like it's in progress and moving along. We're on item 9B, policy number 230, collection development.
I move that we approve the updated policy number 230, collections development as presented.
I'll second.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Schmidt. Do we need any further discussion? Is there anything you want to present about it?
I mean, I added in an additional little paragraph, that's kind of what you, with the certification that was part of the per capita grant you approved in the consent agenda. It's new this year, but it was certifying to that new law that either we adopted the ALA Bill of Rights as part of our policy, or barring that we have something explicit in our policy that states, and I just the way they kept phrasing things in various places made me feel like, let's do both. And so I added in this additional paragraph to just explicitly say that we're not going to withdraw material merely because individuals or groups object to the material. So that just kind of strengthened our support of intellectual freedom and the idea that we took out the request for reconsideration and are doing the new statement of concern policy. So I think it all just kind of, so that was the only change that I made from last month, but otherwise you all seemed like you liked it last month.
So I just had a quick question.
Sure.
So I mean, I understand the policy. Would there ever be a time or something where we would consider something that wouldn't be, I don't know, suitable for the library? Not to say that, I was just going to the other extreme of like, I was just.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to say yes, but I mean, I suppose it could just be, I mean, there's any number of reasons why we might withdraw material, if it being outdated or
Right.
incorrect
Oh, yeah.
information. And, you know, there's a whole collection of stuff. And so we can't be aware of every single book and every single detail and fact in it. So something like that maybe, or, you know, a lot of the things arise from, there's not an MPAA for books, rating books. So and reviews do the best they can. They mention, you know, as much as they think is relevant, but that doesn't mean they can mention every single little detail about a book. So maybe something, I don't know, truly horrifying arises. I think really in the end, usually it's just going to be assessing whether we can shift it around in the collections. I think most of the time people have issues with something that they deem inappropriate for children. And so we might look at it and go, you know what, that's not a bad argument. And we'll move it to the young adult collection, or we'll move it to the adult collection. We're not really not interested in removing it altogether because we still want people to, you know, I can't think of just a straight up, we want to torch this book. That's a bad word, right? I'm sorry, that we want to remove this one. That was really a bad choice of words. Sorry. I can't think of an example of why we would want to do that, but in the case of, you know, evaluating its appropriateness for which collection it's in, that's a totally reasonable thing to do.
So the only other question I had is, so I understand that almost all Warrenville is in District 200, but what about if there is anybody from West Chicago or 33 or High School 94 that would need support when they live in Warrenville? Because the only part of Warrenville that is not in District 200 is the neighborhood subdivision. They're in West Chicago 33 and High School District 94.
Okay. So what is the question?
Well, just that I see that we're supporting 200. So if somebody came in saying, I need materials from West Chicago, I mean, would we just direct them to the West Chicago library, and or even though they have a Warrenville library card, and do we have that?
Oh, well, I see what you mean. I mean, I think generally since the majority of District 200 is,
Right. Oh, I understand.
we're supporting that, but no, if somebody was in Warrenville and is in one of the other districts, if they had a book that they needed, we could happily get it for them, either through a purchase or through interlibrary loan. I mean, we're certainly gonna want to help the students.
Right.
If they live
At
in-
the present time, there's very few.
Oh, yeah, no,
school-aged
I
children.
understand. And I mean,
So-
it fluctuates because I know a few years ago, it seemed like there were a lot of school buses. And the only other reason that I mention it is at some point, my number, I can't tell you how many people from West Chicago were calling my number to reach a family. And I know one of them was like a bus driver, a school counselor, the principal, and they would all, and by the time I got home, the school was closed and I'd leave before the school was open, and they'd call at different times during the day, and they would get really, about the third time, they were getting really angry that the family was not calling them back and they weren't able to reach them. So I was just like, so I called and told them, I'm like, I'm sorry, you're dialing the wrong number, and I understand your frustration. I'm sure the family is equally frustrated as to why you're not getting in touch with them. So anyway.
But no, but yeah, any card holder, Warrenville card holder that has a book that they're needing, they'll be happily get them.
Good, all right, so we should go ahead and vote, and since this is a change in policy, we're gonna do, a roll call vote. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe. Aye. And Trustee DeRocher votes aye. So that policy change is approved. Moving on to 9C, policy 290. Statement of concern. Can I have a motion, please?
Move to approve and adopt the new policy number 290, statement of concern and statement of concern form as presented. Second.
Motion was made by Trustee Schmidt and seconded by Trustee Lazan. Have anything you would like to state about that?
I didn't change anything from last month, but again, we took the request for consideration out of the collection policy. I'd seen this that a bunch of libraries were doing, and I thought this was really nice. It kind of broadens it up into somebody making a statement about, anything, a program, a display. So it gives a little bit broader voice for people to voice a concern if they have one, but it also then conversely pulled back on the idea of suggesting that we're going to reconsider and withdraw books. Because especially with the new Illinois law, and if we seem all to be in agreement of wanting to support intellectual freedom and individual responsibilities, that we really didn't want that as an outright option on the table of withdrawing things. So this is a little more vague. Get to voice your concern. We can consider it, but nowhere in here is it stating or suggesting that we're going to withdraw books. So, and
There's a clear process.
and so we just really like that concept.
Good, all right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote then. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe. Aye. And Trustee DeRocher votes aye.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
All right, good work, everybody. All right, we don't have any new business, so we're moving on to page 65, the director's report. Something you want to say about your report?
I have a couple additional things that aren't in the report, but again, I just wanted to highlight the year in review. Thank you for all the work that you all do, because you all are volunteers, and I just wanted to highlight all the stuff that you approved and worked on this year. So thank you all for all that work.
You're welcome.
And you all have been very happily and pleasantly surprised, not surprised, but it's been a lovely change.
Be glad.
My brain is mush. I apologize. I'm speaking well. But no, it has been a lovely change to be with a group that are very supportive of staff, supportive of the director running the library, and supportive in general of these concepts that libraries are stand for. So thank you all for that.
It's a different work.
Yes, indeed.
Yay, us.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. One of the updates in here was about the Swan Libraries app, which unexpectedly went away at the end of November.
Oh,
It is back this week, literally. There is a new Swan Libraries Plus app in the app stores. We are not, of course, I'm announcing it here in a recording, but officially Swan recommended that we don't make an announcement until December 26th, right after Christmas. So we're aiming to make an announcement on social media, on December 26th. And then in our first e-news of the new year, Kathy's writing an article to promote it there. So, but if you're really antsy, you can go into the app store now, Swan Libraries Plus. So, and it works much better in alignment with the catalog that you would look at through your web browser. So I think it is actually an improvement over the last app, even though there's not quite the transition that we would have liked. It is a good improvement. So
Well, that was the one thing I couldn't understand. So when I'm in Ohio and I'm like, I don't understand why I can't access anything. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm in Ohio or not, near the
Yeah,
library.
Just. Yep,
No,
the
it's
Swan was blindsided, Cersei Dynex was blindsided. Just what the partner that Cersei had all of a sudden decided they're gonna stop supporting it, and they did. So,
That is just so odd that they didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the way the.
as a follow-up, from previous conversations earlier this year, this week, Paul instituted that, new price cap in Hoopla. So
Oh,
now
okay.
there's a price cap of $2.99 instead of the $3.99. So hopefully that will save us some money, because at the moment we are on track to overspend. We're spending about $3,000 a month so far, so that would put us over.
Yeah.
So hopefully this change will help, and hopefully it is a change that really nobody will notice that much, because unless you really had a couple of these items that you're looking forward to reading and then all of a sudden they disappeared, otherwise you're really not gonna notice much. So. I just wanted to point out that Vivian Lund gave a nice little donation to the library this week. Which is very nice. So I wrote a thank you note that we'll send off when we send out the bill.
Monetary donation?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it in honor of a specific reason, or she just did it?
What you just did.
End of the year.
She's always been an excellent advocate.
Mhm.
That's so great.
And then I suppose it was a chance to ask you all if anybody had any questions about the other email that I sent this week. Okay,
I just had one question on that.
sure.
What classified as LGBTQ books? What was the classification?
Well, like what subject headings did I use for the,
Yeah, I mean, what would classify a book as being that?
if it had a subject heading that was, say, lesbian fiction or.
Oh, I see, you did that as a search one.
That'd be
Yeah.
the cataloging and publication, right? At the beginning of the book, they kind of have
Yeah, this
Library of Congress number and.
the CIP, yeah, so, but when you're looking at an item in the catalog. You scroll down closer to the bottom, there's a collapsible menu for subject headings, and you click on that, it'll give you a whole list. It's
Okay.
dependent on, we don't do any of our own original cataloging, we do a bunch of copy cataloging,
Right.
unless it's our own special collections. Mary Kelly does a great job, thank you. But we're not an original cataloging library, but so the libraries that do that, some of them are very, 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 very thorough, and some of them are fairly brief and succinct about the subject headings that they use for the book, so. But yeah, so it's, every single one of those letters, I use that word as one of the potential search words in the subject headings, and that's what I said. But I mean, there's all sorts of biographies. I may not know all those people's names.
Yeah.
So whatever, I did a reasonable attempt.
And you heard nothing further as of.
Nope.
now.
So it's
So-
just, is it just as somebody's searching that, it's not like its own separate section in the library?
No. Which I don't know if that's what they were expecting, but like I said, there's not just that section.
Right,
We don't have
Yeah.
we don't keep a
This is
list,
where you-
ongoing list of all that, because it's
no.
probably impossible, just like
It's kind of like I'd be browsing biographies, and if somebody I was interested in, it wouldn't be like, okay, now I have to figure out which section I have to go look at, so rather than just looking at the biographies or something, or fiction or whatever.
Yeah.
So
But
it's, so Paul suggested that I do, hopefully. The gentleman was just picking a topic to make a FOIA request about. And that was the first thing that came to mind, and the point was to see if we complied correctly, which we did. So hopefully that's the end of it, and there's nothing else going on.
Thank you for your due diligence on that.
Yeah.
Sure, but yeah, I just, sorry, it took me a while, I wanted to make sure that they all had. We talked about it and had all the information for all the staff first, but I just wanted to make sure you all were aware about it too.
Thank you. I do have a question on the report,
Sure.
because curiosity, and I apologize, and maybe this was discussed last month. The Bethlehem Public Library in New York.
No, it wasn't discussed, it was, I find that on there, so somebody reached out to me.
Oh.
He must have been searching libraries across the country to see if anybody did Magic the Gathering programs.
Okay, I just was like,
And he saw that we had one, so he reached out because he was wanting to start one at his library.
so we're not.
We chatted about the couple times we've done it here, and then the fact that I had run a program in Elm Park for like 17 or 18 years.
Sorry, you know how curious I am.
No, sure. I wondered if anybody would ask about that.
All right, so this lovely note that we got from the Helen Plum Library is such a curiosity.
It is. It's a
Uh,
real feel good note, though.
It's lovely. I wonder, did they send it to a lot of libraries or just they decided we were awesome? I don't know.
Community service.
I just love that they appreciate us.
Must be that second.
Curiosity.
They might have sent it out to all the libraries, because a lot of libraries have been going through a lot these last
Certainly
couple
have.
of years.
It's true.
Just to, kind of boost some people's spirits a little bit. It's been pretty defeating.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I would have one thought on that, since they recently did their building, I wondered at some point, like maybe this year, 2 years ago, maybe even Sandy let us do a tour of.
Oh, they're
Like,
like,
our new stuff, so in their mind, they wanted to make sure they thanked all of the libraries.
that helps out.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out, I have no
That's a
idea.
Yeah.
Good possibility.
Good thought.
It's the Sandy effect.
So I was gonna ask, with the trust calendar responsibilities, I know, usually we've got, these card stock, and I didn't know if they were.
Oh,
I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I can certainly,
whoops.
And they probably want it laminated too.
would you like it on cardstock and laminated?
Cardstock
I
is
don't
good
need
with me.
I don't
think we
need
Because
it.
clearly it didn't help me this month when I thought the library board meeting was next week. And then I realized it's not next week. And look at that, on December 11th next year, we're gonna have our board meeting.
And that true.
Yeah,
So
it'll be really quick after the November, because the November meeting next year is late.
it's November 20th, yeah. So,
Sometimes it's always like that. I don't know if it's January or February, when too seems like it's so short, and then, or February to March, you're like. A couple of months, it's like, wait, didn't we just have it last week?
so
Yes.
anybody who wants it on cardstock, raise your hand.
I'll do it on cardstock.
Two.
It's good enough.
We need two. Okay, 3. Yeah, Rick's throwing his
I do
hand up
not
there.
need it laminated.
All right. We have other director reports. Does anybody, I know that we have a presentation from Kathy, but before we get to that, do any trustees have any comments about any of the other department reports? Anybody have anything to say about any of this? Yeah,
Well, I think this was in your report maybe, Jason, but, if, I don't know, has this library ever considered doing a Commonwealth Edison edit or audit, excuse me?
we have done it,
audit?
actually.
Okay,
We've done that 2
Yeah.
board meetings
we
ago.
have done that. Okay, we've done it.
We've done it. Cool, never mind. Yep.
I think it was in the direction of one of the energy providers. They
Right, I think it was
Okay.
around the time of our remodel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I would assume, because in the staff area, we have some automatic lights.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, we pretty much followed everything that was available for us to do. I may have missed it, but are we voting on the trees again this year?
Yes, and I just wanna say, as David and myself were on the committee, we are, as of 5:15 tonight, we were feeding the fire department in vote, which was one of our goals. We may not be number 1, but we're feeding the fire department by a few votes, so please vote for number 5.
Where do you go vote? Yeah,
Facebook.
it's on
Is it?
Facebook, yeah.
I
could be wrong.
maybe it's, I don't know,
I-
Scouts won. Did they?
What is it?
I don't know.
I could be wrong. The Girl Scouts were leading as the last
They,
Thursday.
yeah, they had one.
When is,
2000.
when is the deadline? I haven't seen anything in the community newsletter or anything.
I haven't either. I would have voted.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't either.
going to grab the, Park District's Facebook.
Oh, it's the Park District Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe that's why. Okay.
Or tree number 5, and
Yes.
voting is still open.
Oh, it is, okay. No,
I said, if it is.
I did have a quick question for Jackie. How did that mobile DMV with Senator Diaz go?
I thought it was great. I applied for my real ID, renewed my license and everything, but, I had an appointment. However, a lot of people that made appointments didn't show, or it didn't go real well for them. They were sitting in here most of the time on their cell phones or, which is too bad because it was really nice. They had all this stuff in here, picture taking for vision.
Well, that's the first time we've done that too.
Ah,
That might have been something that they could have put on the flashy
Yeah.
billboard out there
Yes.
for,
Well, that was not up to us because they were just using a meeting room. It's not something we sponsored. They just signed up for our room. So the senator's office really was the ones that needed to do the publicity.
Did we provide any, like, you know, whether we put it out there on, I don't know,
We don't advertise anybody's programs that are just using our room.
We do the flyers.
I think we put up lawyers.
so some of it, I guess some of it is, I just saw it as a service to any of the, you know, library members, patrons or whatever, that's, I mean, it's one thing if, I guess, it's like a DM,
If we advertise theirs for them,
oh, right.
then you're opening up
advertise,
can
yeah.
of worms, and then we need to advertise anybody's that asks. to.
Yeah.
We just don't do it. We only do our.
Yeah, I see the point.
Girl Scouts won.
Anyway, to go backwards, the point I should have
Is it
made is
close?
thank you to everybody who decorated our tree. It was
Um,
great.
I loved the report on a very, very cool thing.
It was so cold that day, it was bright and sunny, blue skies, but it was, we were going in Gail's car, it was warm up, we were just like freezing.
Good representation of our facility.
Thank you.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
personal sacrifice.
All right. We have our auspicious marketing department, the whole department is here.
Wait, make way.
I believe you all have met David. He came to a board meeting last year and he's been at all of our events. So, all right, we are going to get off this slide. Here, all righty. So we're getting started here. We are so excited, David and I, to be presenting this tonight. This project has been a long time in the making. I know when this project came up for the board a few months ago, it seemed like the response was very positive that it was time for something new. We're pretty sure you're going to really like what we present to you tonight, and we hope that you're really going to love it too. I'm going to share some background and set the stage, and then David will take over to walk you through the design process. When he's done, we'll answer any questions and talk about the implementation phase. All right, like most things, it's always good to maybe take a look back before you move forward. So I'm going to show you a few slides here with some images. It's likely that this green circular image was the first library logo. I can't find anything that might have predated it. I believe legend has it, the green was used to symbolize all the evergreen trees in the surrounding forest reserves. Enter this black circular logo. It is the most recognizable logo we currently have. You can tell it was derived from the green one. And there are these kind of offshoots from that. In this image, the roof line there and the door is a little bit even more elongated than in the previous, the green version. This black logo has been in use for quite some time. I believe everyone commented last time it looks more emblematic or like a government stamp. I'm sure when it was first developed, it was a sign of the times. It has served us well, I will say that, over the years. These images in some form or another show up still to this day as part of our kit inserts for discovery packs, puzzles, our Tech-to-Go items, and a few other things. They're also on, the library letter. Okay, enter these color logos. They were designed, or they, not designed, but they were colored in 2017, shortly after our building redesign. They correspond to our service areas. Blue is for adult and also serves as an overarching library color. Orange for youth and green for teen. They are used in many print applications, like on some of the information available at our desk and information as part of the program take home. Next up came our roof line design, which was originally developed as the shelf topper on all of the new display cases that came with the 2017 redesign. From there, because of its horizontal orientation, it was applied to our new website, as well as e-news and our databases. A modified version of it also appears in Reading Matters. Variations with our address are used in letterhead, business cards, and board packets. So, as you can see, we've been all over the board with the different images, various colors, shapes, sizes. Thus leading to our desire to create one logo to represent the library. So now I want you all to do this. Let's unsee all of this, all right? So now we're going to head to how we got started on this project. So I had put together a statement of purpose presented to Jason. It was largely included all of the objectives for why we needed to move forward with the logo redesign project. Very simply, top reason we needed a more contemporary design. We needed a design that could work for both vertical and horizontal applications across both print and digital platforms. We needed something scalable, that is to work on various sizes, like our big sandwich boards down to maybe our little concert bookmarks that we give out. Adaptability. Needs to fit a range of contexts, both color and black and white settings. Needs to be accessible. The logo itself might not be deemed as accessible, but it supports all accessible guidelines. That was very important in the design process. And finally, these last two go together. We need an image that will represent the library's values and our commitment to discovery into our community, and something that can unite us all. David and I did our homework for this. Each of us in our respective backgrounds has informed much of our thinking to get us to this point. I know when I first interviewed here, I saw the logo and was hoping something new was on the horizon. Just took a little bit. When David interviewed with Sandy and I last year, we knew he could handle a logo redesign based on his portfolio, which also included some mock-ups he did very specific to our library. And all right. So both David and I also to prepare for this, we've taken some webinars and tutorials. I just listed a few here. You notice that some of them come from, we learned from LinkedIn Learning, which is one of our online databases. The other thing that I did pretty early on was reach out in my marketing groups to other libraries that had recently rolled out a new logo design, whether because they had a new building, had redesigned a building, they were doing some new discovery labs or something like that, or simply because they needed an update. I had a nice meeting with the communications woman at Glenview. And then also David and I went and met with the communications manager at the Fountaindale Library in Bolingbrook. She really spent a lot of time with us going over their process. Separately, David spent a lot of time reviewing accessibility standards and guidelines to make sure that we correctly apply a new logo in our other platforms and materials. We conducted a survey of our public staff and the board. Did a much lower response than I would have liked, but the findings were valuable for further learning. I'll share with you, some brief results, but I will paraphrase Sally Field. They like us, they really like us. I mean, we got a small response, but it was very positive. The majority of the responses, focused on 3 qualities that I categorized as, one is perceptions. People see us as friendly, welcoming, helpful. The other, they value our resources, obviously our books, the educational value of our materials, and also for entertainment. And surroundings came up a bit. We are quiet, safe, and organized. So good to hear. And then meanwhile, while all of this was going on, we conducted an inventory of all of the logo placements and the info pieces we have with our library name, address, and website. This included print and online applications. I will say the management team was extremely helpful in gathering all of this information. So far, we've identified over 130 digital and print applications for our logo. So I guess we'll be calling on soon to move us forward. All right. I have given you the why, and now David is going to take over and wow you with the what.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so for this project, I created 3 logos, which I'll be sharing in a moment. Each logo sort of, it's like an increasing level of modifications and modernization. So we'll start with the least. I went through like many ideas and iterations, different things, but I decided that my finalized designs would include 3 things. Like some sort of evolved representation of our like building or roof line that we've used, as you've seen in most of our old stuff. A much more prominent representation of the library's name, a little bit hard to read in this one. And that it would work both like in horizontal and vertical formats, as Kathy mentioned. And that it would have a strong icon that could like stand on its own if we needed to use it on social media or things like that. So let's look at number 1. Okay. Everybody got the sneak peek. So for logo 1, this one has the lowest modifications when compared to our starting point there on the left. And I consider it to be like the least modernized. The building is the focal point. And it just has kind of a cleaned up graphic from the original logo. And as you'll notice, it brings in a much more clear representation of our name, much easier to read, especially at smaller sizes. It would be much more clear, much more readable. For logo 2, sort of our medium point, has moderate levels of modifications and a medium level of modernization. It was inspired by a building feature. We have, if you look there on the left, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we have port windows above both of our entrances that are the same. And they look exactly like that. They're kind of this geometric circle window with just shapes. I'm not sure why. I think I asked Jackie at one point if she knew anything. And just one of the things the architects put in, we don't really know why, but looks cool. So I designed this one to sort of look like a stained glass effect to represent the building. Sort of inspired by that look. And then it retains a circular icon similar to our older logo, but it does introduce color. There are 4 colors here, which is something I wanted to try, at least in some of my variants. Then it also has clear, clean geometric shapes, which help a lot with branding. There's a lot of flexibility and things you can do with those shapes within your branding. And then the third design is kind of where everything kind of clicked for us, where everything was really coming together. So let's go there. So logo 3. This one is obviously the most changed from our original, and it is the most modern. I wanted to have more of like a meaning and a concept behind it. It kind of depicts like the front and back covers of a book overlapping the front and back entrances of our building. It has those colors that I mentioned before. Clean, limited geometric shapes, which are going to be very highly usable within the rest of our branding. And it has a very iconic, I think, sort of geographically unique look that'll help us stand out in the area. I don't think you'll see anything else like this really in Warrenville. And then the colors are specifically chosen, so that they create sort of a quadratic color harmony. But they are similar to colors that we've used in our branding as of right now. So it'll be something that should stay somewhat familiar to the public. And they were chosen to be something that we could use when attempting to meet accessibility guidelines. Okay, then I'm gonna show some
David, can
very.
you just tell me,
Oh, sure.
is the long panel that's red, is that actually orange?
It is orange, this
And
screen.
the other
a
one is
little-
red?
Speaking of.
This screen is a little off no matter what we do, but. It is more, the longer one is an orange, and then the smaller one is a red. So they're.
Oh, that's a little bit.
Is that help? Yeah, and it's still a little off, to be honest with you. Everything skews a little dark here,
So
to be
you
honest.
expect it to be a little orangier?
Yes, it'll be a little bit lighter, yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Alrighty, so then some variations on this. So as you'll see on the left-hand side, we mentioned vertical and horizontal formats. That left and right in the middle there would be what this logo would look like, kind of our standard on a white background, our most used option. And then on the right-hand side, there is the color option with white text that we might use over some very specifically chosen dark colors, like that navy there. And then we will, of course, have monocolor versions, black and white, for other applications, where we can only either print in one color or, you know, that kind of thing. And then we're gonna look at some sample mock-ups of what it might look like on some of our stuff. So this is like our website as it currently stands, with the logo popped up there in the left-hand corner. This could be what our Reading Matters newsletter would look like, with the vertically stacked logo there. That might be what it would look like in application. E-news, something you might get in your email. Little bit of an updated look from what we have now, but that could be what it might look like. For like mobile application, we mentioned an icon that could stand on its own for social media or things like that. This here is on Facebook, your name is automatically displayed, so that is just the icon as it would be like in the profile image area. And this is one of our Wi-Fi hotspots. And as Kathy mentioned before, the new logo would be applied to many similar items like puzzles, science kits, discovery packs. But again, just an icon there might be able to be used in a situation like that. And then this, something I'm working on right now as part of this whole redesign effort. This is our brand style guide. Something that would never be seen by our public, but it's something Kathy and I in the marketing department would use quite a bit, and maybe other staff on occasion. Kind of keep us on track with everything we're trying to stay standardized. And then, okay, so then one more look at that logo here. This meets our objectives. It's modern, it's versatile, it's scalable, but more importantly, it represents the way imagination, learning, and discovery are promoted and celebrated in the library between its entrances, just as they are like between the covers of a book. So that was the end of that. So we believe in time, this image of what the library stands for will become very recognizable to Warrenville. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Kathy here.
Alrighty, I can't thank David enough right now. I believe you know David joined us a little over a year ago. He has certainly raised the profile of most of our promotional pieces here in the library. He knew he wanted to do this. We knew we wanted to do this project. So, I mean, here you have it, right? You have it. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Great.
Any comments, questions, concerns?
Love it.
First of all, thanks again. I think you both did, but David, kudos to you. I realize it's not a problem electronically. But is there a cost differential for having multicolor, which we have not really had before? We've been monotone in applying this to the printed materials that it will be applied to.
Well, our big print thing is our Reading Matters, and that's already in multiple colors. So
I was thinking in things like your stationery and some of the other things that, because you had you mentioned you had over 131 applications. Some of those will now be multicolor as opposed to having been monotone previously. And I just want to make sure there isn't, I love it. I just want to make sure we're not jumping into 9 feet of water. And it's extremely expensive. That's my only concern.
Yeah, so that would be something, like our printed materials. We already do print in color on some of, say, the take homes that we have.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that we have out at the desk. I don't anticipate, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
And as David mentioned, we do have those other variations of the logo. If the copier is giving us fits on something, and it sometimes does, right? Right,
Yeah.
David? Right, like it just doesn't want to be the color that we want it to be. So then we make, David makes a few other adjustments, to get us the colors that we want. So we are already, printing, in multicolor.
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit. Most of the printing that we do or that we would do for things we send out, even a lot of it's like 4-color printing, CMYK printing.
Okay.
It's all kind of one thing. We don't almost ever use like spot color printing where you would need specific colored inks to match each thing. We don't really do that.
That was
so-
kind of the direction. I
No,
was going.
yeah, we
'Cause
do
I'm like,
mostly just standard.
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
but there's always,
Yeah, we do
And
4-color standard.
my other concern or question, I think it's not a concern. We do have a plan in motion to roll this out to 100, which will be 150 before you're done. 150 applications.
Yes, well.
Sorry. Okay, let me ask the next one. So we'll see if it's on here. I don't think we design our own website, but we can apply this change to the website without
absolutely.
considerable cost.
Yeah, we do that in-house.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Yes, great. Timeline, spring 2024 rollout. We are poised and ready to go here. We will need some time. We are targeting, April 7th there, National Library Week. But not with everything, like we gotta go slowly into this, make sure that we are doing it right. Probably what will come before this is some information and education sessions for our staff to understand. There are some things that they create, and you know, how they should or shouldn't be using the logo. So that will happen. Then we'll do some applications, National Library Week. E-news is very easy, social media, easy to roll that out. The big release will come in mid-May when our summer Reading Matters newsletters is the press. And then all of its accompanying promotional pieces around that. And to follow this, again, those 130 signage of our features, our little pamphlets, wrap cards at the desks, concert bookmarks, giveaway items. By the way, I'm trying to get rid of old giveaway items, so if there's anything you need for a little stocking stuffer, see me. We have an entire suite of stationery, letterhead, business cards, board minute packets. We'll distribute it to our partners and vendors, and more, because there will be more. So, but big things will start happening come early April.
Great, thank you.
That's rolling out. All right, is that going to be a long enough time? It's only 3 months.
I have utmost faith in
That's a lot of changes to make
Yeah,
Well,
and a lot of coordination that, you know, fits into other people's schedules and that's commercial type applications and getting all this stuff done and people fighting for the first new library cards and this sort of thing. So it's,
I can tell you, Rick, we're poised to do this. We've done the homework. We've got the plan. I will be asking management team and they will be working with their staffs. We'll be assigning people, oh, see all of those DVD cases out there. They need to get swapped out with that little insert that says something wrong with this, or, you know, that little insert. We'll be doing a day of, you know, swap outs, probably a few days of our various things. We will be busy. And that's why I'm leaving this open-ended. Like we're going to hit our big pieces, absolutely, no doubt. And it's those smaller things that will come.
can we help in any way?
Well, yeah. Jackie, you're getting that in the notes, right?
Yeah.
No, I honestly could foresee a day of swapping out, again, those little slips of all of those, all of the DVDs, just it versus waiting until they're checked out, when they're checked back in. No, we could just really, get in here, like maybe start early in the morning someday, try to do as much of it as we can without disturbing our visitors.
It's Sunday morning.
Thank you for that idea. Who's got the calendar out? So I will keep that in mind, that perhaps you would be interested in helping. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Did I get
here? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We'll be getting some new, like the banners that sometimes hang on the streetlights, will that also, some of those be changing?
Those are, they go with the concert banners, and ours only go down here, right, Paul? Right, ours are only in the parking lot. Those are very specific to the concerts. Remind me, I don't even know if they have our logo in there. I can't remember.
Well, I thought for some reason, sometimes I've seen like, I thought get a library card or something that, hanging from some of the streetlights that, oh.
No, not in my time. We do like our sandwich boards out front.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity there to, team up with the city and something like that.
Yeah. When you said team up with this, I'm a real big fan of intergovernment, friendliness and all that jazz. I wonder if it would be fun to, and maybe you already have this plan, go to a city council meeting.
Sure.
Maybe during, big library week or something and say, because a lot of people do watch city council meetings. And we don't have a whole big following at our meetings, and it just might be a nice way to interrelate.
Yeah.
Or to get it in their newsletter.
I tell you, the woman, communications manager at the city, she's phenomenal. Like, I don't even have to send her anything on the library. She is a former marketing manager at
St. Charles.
St. Charles Library. So she loves libraries. She just grabs our stuff. She puts it in the newsletters. She's putting it on their electronic boards. We don't even have to prompt her. So, but yeah, there's an opportunity there to, the county said maybe get out to a board meeting or get out to a park district meeting. Sure.
I heard library cards mentioned. Is the plan to reissue new library cards with the new logo? Because I know we just went, I don't remember the details, but we just went through a library card redesign not long ago.
We did, that was kind of like a stopgap design, I'll be honest with you, we needed to come up with something because we had a place in order. And I'm virtually certain we have many, Lori?
We have at least 5 boxes yet.
Oh, wow.
And I think a whole lot in those boxes.
And that's kind of why I was asking.
Yeah.
Right. And there's not really, it's not really logo, so that,
Those
and
are
that,
photographs.
it's an image, it just says WPLG. There are the old ones, right?
Yeah.
The-
Photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I forgot that it changed.
Right. So that we still,
Yeah, I have one of these.
do we still have the,
I don't ever get my
I
library
just had
card
the
out.
card key one.
like the picture of the,
There are a few hanging around and
Yeah.
there are members that have them. I don't
Yeah.
think any of the ones that we have are all the newer blue ones. They're not.
No, I have the old
the
one.
big
I do too.
those cards are very expensive. I had not planned to,
Well, that's
To-
kind of what I was asking.
but that's why when we had to order new ones, I don't know, almost 2 years ago, I can't remember. It was, we definitely took an image out of there just because we were hopeful about getting to this point. So that's why it's WPLD in our library colors, and very close to our library colors.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kathy, and David. This is fantastic. Very happy.
All right, we are going to roll with this.
Oh,
Yes, thank
I
you.
really like it.
I do too. I love the idea of the book and the building. That's beautiful.
lovely.
All right, I'll
Hey.
step away from this computer before I do something.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. All those members. Now wake up. Time to fall asleep now.
Thanks, yeah.
All right, we are moving on to the president's report. And we have our next meeting in January. I do want to actually talk about that. Both Jerry and I already know that we will not be present. Is there anyone else that knows they will or will not be present next month? We need to make sure we have enough for a quorum.
Get ready, Rick.
What?
Well, actually, our vice president isn't Rick. I had it in my head as Rick. It's you.
Oh, I know that, but I'm
There
not
was an
gonna be there either.
insurrection.
Yeah.
So,
It is me, but I'm not gonna be here. You're not gonna be here.
That's right.
So I
So
believe
now-
he's next.
now, yes, Rick, would you be willing to run the?
Maybe we
meeting?
should talk to Jill and make sure she's gonna be there.
Right, yeah. Okay, well, with four, we have a four, so,
They have a form of these. If you.
okay. All right, that's good to know. All right, moving on to the treasurer's report.
Everything looks good.
Your hair looks awesome today.
No. Somebody said we're doing pictures.
Secretary. Everything looks good. Excellent, excellent. I don't think we have any committee meetings this month. Trustee comments. I would like to start off with trustee comments by saying that, Jason, we were also very sad to hear about the loss of your mom. It's been a tough year for you with your dad's changes and losing your mom. And we have a little card to give you. And we're just really our heartfelt condolences. It's a tough thing. Thank you. So, anybody else have any comments? I'd also like to wish everyone a lovely holiday season.
Happy holidays.
All right.
Eat pie.
We cookies.
Any other trustee
good
comments? Yes, okay. Any items for information or discussion? No, all right.
I'm sorry, I do look like. I did sign up for the conference. So I did my due diligence. As you guys did. I was letting you know, I signed up for the conference. In fact, I've chosen some workshops that look good. And so I'm looking forward to it. I've been reading the newsletters.
Good. Do we need to do any kind of follow-up about the training that we need to do?
Oh, yeah, I meant to. As far as I know, so far, only 2 of you have done it. So,
I won't follow.
Sure.
if you have not already, please try.
Good luck, kids. I can hear it because I had some.
If you have any questions, give me an email or a call
What is the deadline, please?
at the end of the month,
The
the end of the year,
That would be interesting.
which would be
So
the
the
end
end
of
of
the month.
December. So my friendly, board members, we definitely need to make sure that we do that. And Jason has sent us the link needed, and the information needed. It was a little, discombobulated at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry about that. The
But-
first time trying to add non-employees to Paylocity, so it was bumpy.
But it worked out.
So I will say the most important thing was for all staff. It was important for you all as well, but ideally, if you could finish it by the end of the month, that would be best. But I feel like if, you know, with the holidays, if you don't get it done until the first week or two of January, that is okay, but then you're gonna, you know, next year, then essentially you'll be required to do it.
Okay, I'm laying down the law. I've got my gavel in my hand.
But January at the very, 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 very late.
To the month, so I will make sure I get it done at some point.
I have a house full.
It took a good hour, it took a good hour, and I had trouble getting in and.
So
stuff,
the
I-
first week of January, that's fine.
A room there, so-
I move we
We what?
blow this pop stand.
Oh, are you on adjournment already? Okay. We've got a motion for adjournment from trustee Warren. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Lizan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? If not, if you oppose.
They don't hide.